Hey everybody, Ace Trainer Liam here and welcome to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon that has more than one form or a branched evolution or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between those Pokemon and try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a Metronome Battle between them just for a little bit of fun. If you're a fan of Form Fight and you're ready for more, make sure you hit the like button to show that you're enjoying this series, and of course hit subscribe if you're new because you won't want to miss an episode. With all that out the way, let's have a look at today's challenges. Today on Form Fight, we're going to be comparing the two forms of Darmanitan, which are Standard Mode Darmanitan and Zen Mode Darmanitan. Now, when you have a Darmanitan in your party and you start a battle, it will always be in its Standard Mode form. However, a Darmanitan with the ability Zen Mode will transform into Zen Mode Darmanitan during a battle when its HP hits 50% or lower, and will remain that way unless its HP is restored to above 50% or it loses the ability through something like Worry Seed, for example. But what makes these two forms of Darmanitan so different? Let's take a look. Both modes of Darmanitan stand at 1.3 meters tall and weigh 92.9 kilograms. They both share a Pokédex entry which reads, when one is injured in a fierce battle, it hardens into a stone-like form. Then it meditates and sharpens its mind. Its internal fire burns at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, making enough power that it can destroy a dump truck with one punch. Appearance-wise, both resemble Daruma dolls, sorry about the pronunciation, with Standard Mode Darmanitan looking like a cross between that and an ape, with bright red fur, whereas Zen Mode looks a lot more like the Daruma doll that they're based on, but this time with blue fur. In their shiny forms, Standard Mode Darmanitan changes its red fur to a more burgundy colour, whereas Zen Mode changes to a darker shade of blue. Now let's have a look at the typing, weaknesses, and resistances of these Pokemon forms. Standard Mode Darmanitan is a pure fire type Pokemon, which makes it weak to ground, rock, and water type moves. It resists bug, steel, fire, grass, ice, and fairy type attacks and has no immunities. As for Zen Mode Darmanitan, it's a dual type fire and psychic Pokemon. This makes it weak to ground, rock, ghost, water, and dark type moves. It resists fighting, steel, fire, grass, psychic, ice, and fairy, and again has no immunities. Now let's jump over and have a look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon forms. Standard Mode Darmanitan is a big bruiser with a massive attack stat, great HP and speed, but below average defense and special defense, making it very fragile. We'll just ignore the fact that it's got garbage special attack as well. Its primary ability is Sheer Force, which powers up moves with additional effects, but removes those additional effects. For example, it increases the power of Darmanitan's Rock Slide, but prevents Rock Slide from causing opponents to flinch. This is a great ability for getting even more power out of Darmanitan's already impressive attack. Its hidden ability is Zen Mode, which causes Standard Mode to change into Zen Mode Darmanitan when its HP falls below 50%. Note that, as I said before, if its HP is restored to above 50%, or if it loses this ability, it will revert back to Standard Mode. This ability, of course, is the only way to get to use Zen Mode Darmanitan, and it's interesting because it gives you a very different way to use Darmanitan. As for Zen Mode Darmanitan, it's considerably slower than the Standard Mode, but has almost double the defense and special defense, making it massively bulky, and its attacking stats are switched, giving it incredible special attack. Do bear in mind though that Zen Mode Darmanitan outside of Form Fight will always have half the HP of regular Darmanitan, because there's no way to have a Zen Mode Darmanitan with 51% HP or more. Now technically Zen Mode Darmanitan's ability is Zen Mode, but in reverse, since if its HP somehow rises above 50%, it will transform into Standard Mode Darmanitan. But technically it really doesn't have an ability. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two forms of Darmanitan I prefer, and I'm gonna go with Standard Mode, because with Zen Mode, I like its design, I like its typing, I like its stats, but other than that, there's no real reason to use it, I guess, because you have to, if you're using a Darmanitan strategy that involves changing into Zen Mode, it means that you have to lose 50% of your HP to even have an effective Pokemon. That's not great. You know, if it stayed in Zen Mode for the rest of the battle and you could like use a berry to restore its HP back up to 100% or something, then it'd be great. Then I'd really want to use it. But the idea of banking my strategy around losing half my health, I just don't like strategies like that. You know me, you know that I don't like strategies like that. I just think it's a bad idea. You never want to take damage. So why would you want to take half your health worth of damage just to get to your actual strategy? And it also means that in the meantime, you either have to use a Darmanitan that is a physical attacker using that attack stat that's then going to lose its attacking power and then have to use special attacks, which it may or may not have, or it means you have to have a Darmanitan that gives out really weak attacks until it gets to 50%, and then its special attack is powered up so it can actually use the moves you've given it. Or you have to give it some weird hybrid mix of physical and special attacks, and it just... I don't like it. I'd much prefer to go with the much simpler Darmanitan, Sheer Force. It's the same Pokemon from 100% HP all the way down to 1% HP. I prefer that way better, in my opinion. As I say, I like the concept of it. I love the concept. I think it's fantastic. It's original. I just prefer standard mode Darmanitan. Of course, it's not just up to me, it's up to you guys to decide which of these two forms of Darmanitan is your favorite. But before you make your decision, let's see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome Battle. Now, before we get started, I will point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any held items. They've got neutral natures. In this instance, I've done things a little bit differently, because if I give them their hidden abilities, then they'll have Zen mode, which means that the minute Zen mode takes damage in battle, it will recognize that it's above 50% and it will change back into standard mode. Similarly, if standard mode has Zen mode, it means when its HP is below 50%, it will change to Zen mode. It's really complicated. And then I thought about giving them both Sheer Force, but then I was like, but Sheer Force isn't something that Zen mode would ever have access to, so that's kind of unfair because Zen mode has an ability that it wouldn't normally have. And then I thought, you know what would be easier? I gave them both Klutz. Klutz is an ability that does absolutely nothing in Form Fight, so they've basically both got no ability, so it's going to be completely fair, calling it down the middle. So the only advantage or disadvantage either of these Pokemon are going to get comes from their typing and their base stats. Everything else is all up to the Metronome. Let's go. It's time for the Darmanitan Showdown. Someone's going to kill me in the comments for that pronunciation. It's Darmanitan Standard Mode versus Darmanitan Zen Mode. Oh boy, this is going to be a beautiful one. Just look at these Pokemon. This is one of those form changes that a lot of people tend to forget about. Here's a Twin Needle, though, starting off that will be neutral, I believe, on the Shiny Zen mode from regular Darmanitan there. So again, just a reminder, these Pokemon all have the Klutz ability, just so that they won't accidentally change form during battle, which would negate the entire point of Form Fight. There's a wing attack from Shiny Standard mode onto Shiny Zen mode, who is going to fire back with a Grass Knot. Not the greatest of moves to use on a fire type, but, you know, there's a bit of a weight difference, I guess. So there's Shiny Darmanitan taking a little bit of chip damage there. A decent amount of damage from that Grass Knot, to be honest. Here's an X-Scissor, though, which again will be resisted from regular Zen mode onto regular Standard mode. Tanking that here, absolutely loving that hit there. Not very effective, but here comes regular Darmanitan. Standard mode Darmanitan is going to go for Amnesia, so it's going to increase its special defense. That's an interesting play there, especially with plus it's 2 stages. Interesting play because, of course, Zen mode is known for its special attack stats, so watch out for that. Here's a double slap coming from Shiny Standard mode onto Shiny Zen mode. 2 hits there from the double slap, and here comes regular Zen mode with the retaliation. What will it do? It's going to go for Mystical Fire, which is going to be stab but resisted. But more importantly, it is going to lower the special attack of Darmanitan, which is already garbage anyway, so that's not the most important play, but it was at least interesting. Here's Rest coming out from Shiny Zen mode, going to restore its HP back up to maximum, but go to sleep for a couple of turns there. Will that work in the Zen mode's favor, or will it work against them? I guess we're going to have to stay tuned and find out. Here we see Shiny Darmanitan, Shiny Standard mode Darmanitan, jumping straight in with an Ice Shard, which is not going to be very effective, but it does chip away at that nice 100% HP that Shiny Zen mode gave itself last turn. And here is regular Darmanitan going for Wild Charge. That'll be a beautiful neutral hit with that great attack stat, but Zen mode tanking it. Testament to its increased defense compared to its standard mode counterpart. Here is regular Zen mode. I got very confused then. I nearly said standard Zen mode and really confused myself. Little bit of chip damage there from that Thunder Shock, but it shows that did a lot for a Thunder Shock. That's a testament to the special attack of Zen mode. And here's Shiny Standard mode going forward with a Rock Climb on Shiny Zen mode. That's going to do a great chunk of damage there, bringing Shiny Zen, who's still asleep, down to less than half its HP. Here's a Sonic Boom, guaranteed 20 hit points, and I like that they're doubling up on the Shiny Zen mode there. They're trying to take out one of these Zens so then they can easily deal with the other. Natural Gift is going to fail from regular Zen mode, and of course Shiny Zen mode is still fast asleep. Can't do anything, mate. Wakey wakey, you big old numpty. You've got stuff to do. You've got Zen to dish out. Here is standard mode Darmanitan with roleplay, but of course you can't copy a Pokemon if you have the same ability as it, so you know what I mean. Can't copy an ability. Here's a Will-O-Wisp. That will fail. It doesn't affect fire types. That's unfortunate. Zen, Shiny Zen, finally wakes up and goes for the Metronome. What's it going to do in its waking moments? It's going to go for Guard Swap. That's great. Good job, mate. 10 out of 10. Switched all changes to defense and special defense with the target, which I don't think any have happened. I think it's just special attack drops we've seen so far. Here's a heavy slam, though. That's going to be resisted by regular Darmanitan there. Being done by the standard Zen mode. Don't say that's so confusing. Regular Zen mode. The one that's not taken any damage yet in this battle. Here's a Flare Blitz from regular Darmanitan onto the regular Zen mode, who I just said hadn't taken any damage. That was a huge amount of damage for a not very effective hit, and there's a bit of recoil damage as well. Here comes shiny standard mode Darmanitan, who is going to go for a play rough. It will be resisted, but it's using that huge attack stat, bringing shiny Zen down into the danger zone. I can't do that. Let's not make that a thing. Here comes shiny Zen mode with Dream Eater, but no one's asleep, so shiny Darmanitan is absolutely fine there. And here comes regular Zen mode, getting ready with a slash. Okay, you know, your attack stat's garbage, but go for it. Did a decent amount, actually, for a garbage attack stat. So, fair play, fair play. I'll shut my big fat mouth. I won't, because I'm doing commentary, but still. Here's a burn-up from the regular standard mode Darmanitan onto that regular Zen. Absolutely nothing done. Doesn't that mean that Darmanitan has lost its fire typing, and it's now the unknown type? That's right, isn't it? Someone let me know in the comments if that's right. Here's a Storm Throw, though, from shiny Darmanitan onto regular Zen mode. Not very effective, doesn't do much at all, but it was a crit, so for what it's worth. And here comes regular Zen. Here it goes with Hone Claws. It's going to increase its attack stat, and I believe it's accuracy as well, if I'm correct. Attack and accuracy. Sometimes, with the thousands of moves that are there, you forget things, like what Laser Focus does. Remember that? That's a good meme. Here's Bug Buzz, though, not very effective, coming out from the shiny Zen mode. Does a decent amount of damage because of that huge special attack stat, though. And here comes regular Darmanitan on the retaliation. What will it do? It's going to go for Tickle! Of course it will. So tickling the regular Zen mode that it's been targeting so much, drops its attack and its defense. Always love a good tickle. And here comes shiny Darmanitan, who's going to go for Endeavor on the regular Zen mode, bringing its HP down to equal its own. So that was a good play from the shiny Darmanitan. And here's Growth from the shiny Zen mode, increasing its attack and special attack by 1 stage each there. It's getting ready for something special, I reckon. What's it going to do? Here comes the regular Zen mode, who is going to go for Bubble, which will be super effective, and its special attack as well on both Darmanitan, taking down the shiny Darmanitan, leaving just the Darmanitan that has no type right now. It's still got no type as far as I'm aware. Or does that only last for one battle? I have one turn. I have no idea. I don't use Burn Up very often. Not on pure fire types, because I don't know many that get Burn Up. But here we go. Here comes Zen. Oh, Attract isn't going to work on that regular Darmanitan there, Zen mode. But what will shiny Zen mode Darmanitan do here? It's going to go for Razor Leaf, which is not going to be very effective, but does a decent amount of chip damage there to Darmanitan. It really could use, like, Surf or something to take both of these out. Will it be so lucky, though? Here's a Bolt Strike, but it is avoided by the Zen mode Darmanitan, who is going to retaliate right now. What will it do in return? It's going to go for Grass Knot. Again, we're getting another Grass Knot on that regular Darmanitan. It is neutral and knocks it out because of the loss of the Fire type. Beautiful move there. And the Zen mode takes it. So congratulations to Zen mode Darmanitan for the victory. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, but now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the two forms of Darmanitan do you prefer? Is it standard mode or is it Zen mode? Let me know in the comments and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to support the channel like these wonderful people down here do, you can pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrinilium. And for live streams 5 days a week, head over to twitch.tv/AceTrinilium. But until next time, I'm Ace Trinilium. Keep on training.